Okay, so I am going to code this 15-mark question, and it is from the summer 2024. And it says, the one-dimensional array clubs is used to store the names of 12 cricket clubs in a local sports league. The two-dimensional array statistics is used to store for each cricket club the number of matches won, matches drawn, and matches lost. The 1D array points is used to store the total number of points each cricket club has been awarded. The position of any cricket club's data is the same in all three arrays. For example, the data in index 2 of stats or index 2 of points belongs to the cricket club in index 2 of clubs. The variable matches stores the number of matches played by each team. Each team plays the same number of matches. The points are awarded for a win, 12 points, a draw, 5 points, a loss, 0 points. Write a program that meets the following requirements. Allows the number of matches played to be input and stored with a maximum of 22 matches. Validates the number of matches played. Allows the names of the cricket clubs to be input and stored. Allows the number of matches won, drawn, and lost to be input and stored for each team. Validates the number of matches won, drawn, or lost against the number of matches played. Ask the user to re-enter the number of matches won, drawn, or lost if the total does not match the number of matches played. It calculates and stores the total number of points for each club, finds the cricket club or clubs with the highest number of points, and outputs the name or names of the winning club or clubs, the number of wins, and the total number of points awarded. Okay, so this is quite a mammoth one. They do seem to be adding more stuff to these, but let's get on with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to think about what is going on with these arrays. I'm going to have the array clubs, and that's going to have the name of the clubs on there. So you don't have to do this in the exam, but I always find it helps me. So I'm just going to name some clubs. Taunton. I can't think of any. I'm going to pick some. Watford. I'm literally making this up as I go along. I'm going to pick 3 clubs because I'm going to struggle to think of any more. Okay, so there's my clubs. So clubs has got names in it. So the next one is going to be statistics. And we've got won, drawn, and lost. So this one is going to have 3 columns in it, won, drawn, and lost. So effectively, it's going to be like this. It's going to be 3 columns, won, drawn, and lost for each one. So I'm going to put some stats in there. So we've got 3. The index of those is going to be 0, 1, 2. So we'll put in 42. I don't know what sort of numbers. That's going to be won, drawn, and lost. Actually, sorry, that's the number. It's not the points. It's the number that they've won. And it can be a maximum of 22. So that's going to be 10, 10, and 2. And that's Taunton because it's index 0. And then we'll have some more. We'll have Watford. So that's index 1. Because Watford is index 1. So we're going to have, I don't know, 12, 10, and lost 0. So Watford are doing very well. And then we've got Cheltenham. So Cheltenham are index 2. And that's going to be 13, 9, 22. So yeah, and lost 0 again. Okay. So there is my statistics array. So I'm just going to move that up so that we can review a bit more. And we do have another array. So they've put a third array in called points. And this one is going to be, sorry, the points here. So we've got the points. And the points is a 1D array again. And that's just the total number of points that they got. So that I'm going to make this up. For now, I'm just going to make it up. I'll just put 99, 104, 105. Okay, so remember that we've got a 0, 1, and a 2. And that's Taunton, that's Watford, and that's Cheltenham. Because it said in the thing here, it said that the position of the array is the same for all of them. And that's what it means. We've got 3 arrays, 0, 1, 2 for clubs and points is the same because it's a 1D array. And then statistics, that each row is basically each one for each cricket club, basically. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to do. We're just going to take it one by one. We're going to write the program to meet the following requirements. And I'm going to do this. I might go back and change what I've done if I'm not entirely happy that it's in the right order, etc. I'm just going to go for it. Allows the number of matches played to be input and stored with a maximum of 20. So that's going to be this variable here, matches. So we're going to input it and store it with a maximum of 22, and we're going to validate it. So basically it can't be any more than 22. So we're going to call it matches. Well, actually, we're going to get the input. So we can do matches, or actually, we'll do print, enter the number of matches, maximum 22. And then we'll do an input into that variable matches equals input, and actually it'll be int input because it's an integer, and we'll just put a colon. We don't need to do anything else. Then we need to validate it. So we've allowed that to be input, but we're going to check to see is it bigger than 22. Now we don't know if how many times the user is going to get it wrong. So if you're validating anything, always make sure that you put a while loop if you're going to do this. So I'm just going to validate. So I'm going to start adding some comments in. Validate the input, and we're going to say while matches is greater than 22, or yeah, well, we could say if it's -1, so it could be greater than 0. It should be greater than 0, and matches is greater than, it's not greater than 0, it's less than 0, sorry. Then we're going to say enter the number of matches, so we can just copy that code there. So this validation here is really common all throughout the Cambridge exam. They love to ask you about validating input. So try and remember that what we're doing here, we're getting the input, we're then validating it with a while loop, and then we're just going to keep asking the user until they've entered something that's 22 or less. So I'm going to run this, and I haven't started this yet, so I need to give it a name. So I'm going to call it 15 mark summer 24, and it is paper 2-1, I believe. And let's run this. Okay, enter the number of matches, maximum 22. So hopefully if I enter 99, that's incorrect. So my logic is incorrect. While matches is greater than 22, or matches is less than 0, I think it needs to be an or. I think that's what I've done wrong. Yes, there we go. So it should have been an or. So while the matches are greater than 22 or less than 0, so it's going to kick up a fuss. So if I put in -4, it will keep entering. But if I put in, for example, 17 matches, that's okay. Okay, so if you did get that did what I do in the exam, and you put an or, sorry, an and instead of an or, that is the very minor things that they wouldn't mark you down on. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've done. We've done the first one, or first two actually. We've allowed a number of matches to be input and stored with a maximum of 22, validate it as well. Now we're going to allow the names of the cricket clubs to be input and stored. So that's going to go into this clubs array here. And we know there's going to be 12 because it says there are 12 cricket clubs. I know I entered 3 here. In my data here, you don't have to do this in the exam, but I always find if I draw out the arrays, it always helps me visualize it. You might feel the same. Anyway, we've got 12 clubs. We need to get their input. So input the names of 12 clubs. And because we've got 12 clubs, we know we're going to repeat it, and we're inputting it into that array. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to have a for loop. We always have a for loop. I'm just going to declare the club's array up here. Now, obviously, it says in thing, you don't have to do this in the exam, but I'm just going to declare the array up there because obviously this is a working code. In the exam, you're handwriting it. So I'm going to say for index in range. And we're going to do it 12 times. And we're going to input. The name is going to be input, enter the name of the club, And we could number these. So you could say club 1, club 2, club 3, etc. And you could use index for that, or index +1, because it will start with 0. I suppose we could do that. Let's do that. So we could just put index +1. And then we're going to store that number into the club's array. And to do that, obviously, we've got a blank array here. We could append it. So yeah, we could append it on. Let's do that. Clubs dot append the name. Okay, and I'm just going to print that out at the end just to check that it's working okay. So I'm just going to do print clubs. So let's run that, run module, and we'll have 22 matches. Oh, that is, and then I've got an error here. Input the name of the club, index +1. So stupidly, what I did was, what's it doing? Hang on, what's the error? Look. Oh, these are live errors, everybody. So input expected at most one argument got 2. Oh, yes, you're not allowed to do that in, I keep forgetting this. You're not allowed to do this in input. You can't have 2 things. So what I'll have to do is separate that out into a print statement, basically. That's what it didn't like. Yeah, you can't have a comma and then something else like a print with input. Don't know why. Just one of those things. It would be very handy if they did do that. Right, let's try that again. 22. Name of club 1. I'm just going to use letters of the alphabet because we're going to be here all day if I'm entering 12 different I and then J and then K and then L. There we go. Good. So there's my clubs and that has entered them correctly. So I've got 12 clubs entered, done. That print clubs is just debugged to check that I've done it correctly. Okay, so we've done that one. We've allowed the name of the cricket clubs to be input and stored. We're now moving on to the next one. Allow the number of matches won, drawn, and lost to be input and stored for each team. Now, we could do this in a separate for loop. That's okay. Or we could use the for loop that we've just created where we're entering the name and we're going to add and validate the number of matches won, drawn, and lost as well. So, and we're going to ask them to re-enter it if it's incorrect. So I don't know. It's tricky. Either way, it doesn't really matter if you do another loop. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it in the same for loop. So I'm going to do it in the same one. And what are we doing? We are allowing the number of matches won, drawn, and lost to be input and stored for each team. So we need 3 inputs. So we say 1 equals int input, enter number of 1 matches. Drawn equals int input. And actually, what I could do is I could just copy that. There we go. Enter number of drawn matches. And then finally, we could have 1 drawn and lost. There we go, equals int input. Okay, so we're inputting those. actually, what I need to do as well is I'm just going to add some more comments. Enter the number of matches won, drawn, or lost. Okay, so that's been entered. Next thing we're going to do is, let's have a look at the list. We need to validate that against the total number of matches played. So basically, if you say that if you add all up, the won, drawn, and lost is 24 matches, but they only played 22 matches, that's what we're validating. So what we do is we add those together. So we say total equals won plus drawn plus lost. And then we're going to check to see, is that greater than the number of matches that they played? And they all played the same number of matches, so that's okay. So let's, we need a while loop again for that, because if they enter it incorrectly, just like we did here, we need to validate the input, so we're going to do a while loop. So we're going to say while total is not equal to matches. So we're checking, is the total that we've entered not the same as the total? Then we're going to make them enter the number of matches again. So we just add this on here. We are sort of repeating the code there, but that's fine. This is obviously the situation where you're writing the code in the exam and you're trying to just get something that's working or effectively working. Okay, so what we could put a little error message there as well. Error, number of matches does not match. Okay, so let's try that actually. Let's test this. Let's say enter the number of matches. Let's say there's been 2 matches, so really low. Enter club 1, and I'm just going to do, oh, got an error. I forgot, I'm adding each one at a time. That's my user error. Let's run that again. So enter the number of matches 2, enter the name of the club, Taunton, enter the number of won matches. Right, so I'm going to enter a stupid number here, 5. They've only technically played 2, but I'm saying they've won 5, they've done 7, and they've done 9. So error, the number of matches does not match. So we enter it again. They won 2, they lost 0. That's fine, it's moved on. And I just noticed that my text there should be lost. So that should be lost there. So yeah, you can see that the while loop is used a lot in validation because we don't know how many times they're going to incorrectly enter the data. So we just keep asking. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the next one, which is calculate and store the total number of points for each club. And that means we're going to see how many they've won times by 12, how many they've drawn times by 5, and there's no points for a loss. So we're just going to do those first 2, 12 or 5. So we're going to calculate their points. So we're going to say total points equals 1 times 12. I'm going to bracket those off, plus drawn times 5. And that's going to work out their points. And then we're going to put that into the array, which is called points, which I haven't created yet. So I'm just going to do that up here. Points. And I've just realized I've forgotten to do something, but I'll do it in a moment. So that's the points array. So I'm just going to append that into the points array. Points dot append total points. And that's going to add the data into that array. I just realized that I haven't actually stored those statistics in the array statistics. So let's do that because yeah, I should have stored that. So let's just go back and we're going to store that in the array, and we are going to add into the array, I'll store the wins, etc. in the stats array. And it's quite easy actually to do this for in Python rather than in pseudocode, because all you have to do is you say statistics dot append, and we're going to add on an array, and we can just create the array in there, because remember, a 2D array is just a row. Each row in the 2D array is an array itself. So it's just going to be one, drawn, lost. And I need to create the statistics array, and statistics is blank. Now, although it's a 2D array, you can just create it as blank. Okay, what else are we doing? So that's that bit. Let's just check this runs, see if I've got any more errors. I've had lots of errors today, but that's okay. 22 matches, and it's Club A. How many they won? 10. How many they lost? 10. Drawn, sorry. How they've lost 2. Good. Right. So that's done. So it's just moved down to Club 2 now. So what I need to do is just print out statistics, because it's looped around. So I'm just going to print statistics, and I'm also going to print points so that we can see that the data has actually gone in. This is just debug, nothing else. So let's run this, and 22, it's Club A, they've won 10, drawn 10, lost 2. Yes, good, that's added it nicely, fantastic. Okay, and then we could just add in name Club 2, so that would be B, and how many they won, etc. Okay, last thing then, we are going to find the cricket club with the highest number of points. So this is just the standard method of finding the highest number of points. So all we have to do, well, there's a number of ways we could do this. We could add it into our for loop as we go along, or we could do a separate one at the end. I'm just going to do a separate one at the end. The reason being is I want to just remind you of how that algorithm works. So we're going to find the team with the highest number of points. So we're going to do a for loop, and we're going to set a value called highest, and that's going to be set to a low number. So remember that when you are programming and you're finding out what the highest is of something, so say, for example, you have an array with the numbers 5, 6, 12, 1, and 9. To find the highest number, the computer has a store of the highest number they've come across so far. So you say, okay, this is the first number I've come across so far. That's the highest, so it's 5. So highest would be 5. We move to the next one. Is that higher than the highest we've come across so far? Well, yes, it is. So that becomes 6. We move along. Yes, it's higher. So that becomes 12. That's lower. That's lower. So we know that we end up with 12. So basically what we do with this is, that's what we're doing in that. We're going to do a for loop, for index in range 0 to the length of the points table. And we're just going to say if points index is higher, larger than highest, then highest equals points index. Now, there's one other thing that we do also need to do here, and that is we need to work out who is the club with the highest points. I mean, obviously, we're going to find out what the highest points are by that array. Oh, sorry, this loop here. This will tell us what the highest points are, but we need to find out who it is. So what actually we're going to do is we're going to store the index of that. We're going to say highest index is going to be, I'll put it as -1. No, actually, I'll put it as 0. And then if we have change this value here, we're just going to say our highest index is index. And let me explain what's going on there. Remember that we had an array 5, 6, 12, 9, and 1, or something like that anyway. So the index for those are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when we allocate our highest variable here to be whatever is the highest so far, we need to store the index of what we've just got as well. So every time we're setting highest, we're also saying, actually, where in the array have we got that? So first of all, it's index 0, then it's index 1, then it's index 2. And then we're not doing anything with 3 and 4 because they aren't higher than 12. So that's what that's doing. Okay, so that's what we've done there. And then that will end up with the highest one. So we find the cricket club with the highest number of points. We output the name or names of the winning club, the number of wins, and the total number of wins awarded. So basically what we do is we come back here and we say, let's print out who that is. So print the club with the highest points, and that is, we put their name. So we say club highest index. And then what else do we print out? We're printing out the number of wins and the total number of points awarded, the number of wins. So number of wins would be statistics. And then that's going to be highest index. And then it's element 0 in that array. And that's it. Okay, so this is quite a long piece of code here. They have not made this one easy. If you have found this hard, that's fine. It is a hard one. It is a hard one to look at. So well done. And hopefully, if you haven't been able to do it, then you've understood it and it will help you do further ones as well.